Raise of hands, why did you guys decide to join the Vedam School of Technology?
I have worked with some esports orgs, and they are just very close to Pune, I would say Bangalore and Maharashtra. That was the first reason. Second reason was the trust on the teachers that did the advertisement for Vedam, Nishantini as well. And then talking about the mentors, I searched their profile on LinkedIn and I was surprised. I mean, I can access them as well, so why?
One of the most leading venture in debt funds, and they have also backed some of the amazing startup of the countries. So give a huge round of applause for Ankit Agarwal.
Not many years back, like just maybe 25 years back, starting up or building your own venture would require you 3-4 things, right? Either you have a very rich family with decades of business, and as a second or third generation you want to start or expand the same business, or your dad or mom had a lot of money and you want to use that money to just expand into a new venture, or you have some political connects where you can get some license and start a venture, right? If you look at far forward today, right, all what you need is you need a laptop, you need internet connection, you create a GitHub account, you create a prototype, run it on computing on AWS, go to Instagram, and you launched a business. That's how easy it has become to launch and run your own business today. But what happened in last 15 years was just extremely phenomenal, is what I'm going to talk about, the new world order, right? Companies now, extremely large companies don't take many decades to become that big, right? You don't need generational ideas and generational capital to create something big, right? All what you need is risk appetite, all what you need is a good idea, a good team, and just hunger to run fast and become big, right? We were in college 15 years back, right? We would think about just maybe joining a great company or creating a startup which could be 50 to 100 crore kind of a revenue in a year. Today people are thinking about creating a global dominant company with thousands of crores of revenue, right? So we need ambition and startups which can create a very large disruptive market, right? And third, or most importantly, is betting on the founder. Is anybody interesting to answer as a investor, what should we look at in a founder? Okay, please go for it.
Strong vision and clarity.
Absolutely. Thank you for answering that. That was literally my first point, clarity of thought, right? I think when you are looking at creating your own ventures, it's very important that while I talked about that you don't need 10 years of background to create a certain company in a certain space, then you would wonder that why do you want to found a market fit. Third, but extremely important is, I think, just grit and never say die attitude, right? We have seen almost most of the extremely large successful companies in our portfolio would have had near-death experience at least more than 5 to 6 times in the last 10 years. Like there was a point where they weren't sure if they could survive beyond 3 months, and today potentially they are like more than $5 billion listed companies. Right? What was important was the grit, that you need to keep learning, keep adapting, and keep at it, because your life depends on this. The ability to learn. Right? Anybody starting at any point of time will not know everything, right? Even if you think you know everything, in 2 years you realize that how many things that you don't know. You need to know a lot to know what you don't know, right? But the important point is, can you keep learning? The fifth, what we call as magnetism. Do you have ability to inspire? Right? Today when you start, right, the journey can be very lonely. You want to find your first customer, you want to find your first investor, you want to find your first co-founder, or you want to just find your first employee, right? Once you become a very large company, probably you have an HR department who will start hiring for you. But at that point of time, it becomes extremely important that at every point of time, you are able to express your vision, you are able to inspire. Do you need to have a 5 years experience to start up? Do you need to have enough wealth that, now I have a risk appetite to start up? The answer always is right now, right? You guys are here to learn. The best learning happens when you build, right? Even if it is like you're building an extremely small app which potentially will have 50 users in your own college, right? If you build, two things can happen. Either it kind of becomes viral and become big, which means we'll have to keep building, keep learning to build further with where the learning comes from. Second, if it doesn't work out, it fails. That's probably the best learning at this phase. If you think about coding, right, you're giving a problem statement, you think about logical design, then you start writing your first code, then you test, then you debug, then you iterate till you get a final product. That's coding, right? If you look about entrepreneur's life, right, they think about a problem statement, right? They put a blueprint of how to solve it, right? And potentially they are able to solve it, which could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or forever, based on how big the problem statement is, right? The frame of reference is exactly that, right? It's extremely important to have a frame of reference of I am here to learn how to problem solve. Now, whether you are building it for someone else or you are building it for yourself, right? Like 15, 20 years back, it was unthinkable to kind of have advanced labs like you will have in your school, the kind of support and mentorship you will have in your school, right? And these are extremely new age schools, right? They don't have the legacy baggage of this is how the world works, right? These are only thinking about what is going to be relevant in future for you guys, right? So today, every 3 months, 6 months, if you guys have that mindset of what I'm going to build, what I'm going to create as I learn, that's going to be extremely important. One thing I would very strongly suggest you guys is focus on building your network, focus on creating softer skills, like focusing on your extracurricular, right? So my point is, guys, you are in an extremely interesting phase. We are in a new world order, right? Keep telling that to yourself. You are extremely blessed to be in this place where you have the resources, you have technology, you have your laptop, you have ChatGPT, you can do things, create things extremely fast, right? You don't need investors. If you're building something, you don't need jobs, you don't need employees. Employers need you, investors need you, the customers need you. All what you need is, I think, just grit, hunger, ambition, and think large. That will be it from my side. Thank you guys.